Hi everyone, this is MJ Augustini and welcome to another edition of the Real Estate Transaction. Today is our third and final video on the new listing process. Part 3 talks about what the tasks will be as we actually go live with your listing. So let's get right into it. Next thing we need to do is order the sign for the front yard. And I know some of you are apprehensive about the signs, but really they are one of the tools in our toolbox that we need to use. Unless it's a really special situation where you don't want to sign up, the sign is, again, a very useful tool for us. Not only does it make it easy for the buyer and the agent to find when they're coming to your house to show it, it also allows for neighbors to be notified. Not everybody is glued to Realtor.com or the internet. So if you don't have a sign, your neighbors may not even know that your house is for sale. They may not even go on the computer and look on the internet for that. So it does make it easy for your neighbors to know about it. Neighbors are a good source of referrals for buyers because don't you want your friends and your family to maybe live in your neighborhood? Your friends always ask you, oh, do you like living here? I would love to be here. If you know of anybody ever selling, please let me know. This happens time and time again. So it's really imperative that we have the sign so your neighbors know. It also allows people that are just visiting, the UPS driver, the FedEx driver, or someone who's just visiting a neighbor that may not know that the house is for sale. You never know who's going to be interested in the house. And I totally believe that there is the 6-degree rule of separation. Within 6 people, somebody knows somebody that probably will want that house or know somebody who might want that house. So signs really crucial. My name is on it. My phone number is on it. And it's a good advice for you as the homeowner, especially if you're out gardening and somebody stops and says, hey, can you tell me about your house? You can just point to the sign and say, hey, there's MJ's phone number. Give her a call. She'll give you all the information you need. It's a good scapegoat for you so that you don't have to talk to the neighbors or talk to anybody directly about the house. That's why you hire me to be your go-between. Next thing that we're going to do is deliver a box of booties and gloves and masks. I'm filming this during the COVID crisis, and this may not continue, but we like to make sure that our homeowner is safe, our buyers and agents are safe, and realtors are safe. So we will provide a box of booties, hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks with a little garbage bin so that anybody coming into the property is properly protected and that you don't have to worry about people touching things in your house, that they'll be wearing gloves. We do encourage you to turn all the lights on, open all the doors inside if you're still living in the house to make it easier for people so that there's less touching. This task may go away in the future. Hopefully it will. We still like to put out booties, especially if you've just refinished your hardwood floors or you have a family that doesn't want people walking with shoes. If that's the case, we still would provide those for agents and buyers to make sure that your floors are safeguarded and your wishes about people taking their shoes off are adhered to. Next thing we need to do is get your listing into the MLS system. The MLS is how we cooperate with other agents. The MLS allows any licensed agent in the whole state of Connecticut to come and take a look at your house and show it. So any agent who's licensed in the state of Connecticut, whether they belong to a real estate board or not, has access to your home through our proper channels, through showing time and our super lock boxes. Once the photos and house data have been submitted to MLS, I'm going to send you a draft so that you can take a look at it. Once you approve the listing, make sure I didn't make any mistakes or if there's anything you want me to change. The listing will then go live and then it will be disseminated out. It takes a little while for it to get to all the feeds, but it'll get to Zillow, get to Trulia, get to Realtor.com, and it will get into everybody's feeds. And it will also get into all the agents who have set their buyers up on feeds. They'll get a notification in their feed that the listing came up, and they should get all the photos will be populated and all the information. Please note that Zillow and Realtor.com are independent of our MLS. They draw information from the MLS and they display it how they want to display it. So there are times when we have discrepancies, especially if you live on a border of two towns. It might show the school system is in a different town than your house is located in. If you notice those errors, please let me know. We can do our best to notify Zillow and Realtor.com, but we don't specifically put the information into those sites. They extrapolate that information from our MLS system because we do allow them to take information. Next, we will also, besides dropping off a box of our booties and gloves, we're going to drop off a presentation book. During the days of COVID, we're not leaving paper handouts at the house. However, in the future we will be, but this presentation book stays with the house. It has all the pertinent data for that listing. It has the deed, the floor plan, the tax bill, the survey map, the utility bills, the list of improvements, the MLS sheet, a flyer on the house, all the information a prospective buyer may want to know about when they're there looking at the house. Sometimes agents download it and give it to their buyer or send it to their buyer ahead of time. Sometimes the buyer forgets to bring it, so it's a handy reference in case they have questions. Sometimes they want to walk the property, they need to know the boundaries. This book is here and all the information is in it. This book will be a mirror of what is on MLS. Next, we're going to get you set up on Realtor.com so that you get all the weekly hits. The hits mean how many people are looking at your house. Every time you get a hit, that means an eyeball has looked at your house. Now, if you go onto Realtor.com and you're on it 50 times a day, you're going to skew our results. So it's fine to go onto Realtor.com every couple of days just to check it out, make sure everything's okay. But don't inundate it with views because then it will skew our views. And we may say, wow, there's lots of views, but we don't have a lot of showings. So it's important that you do get these weekly statistics, and it shows you how you're doing in comparison to how your competition is doing. And that way it gives us some direction. In the old days, we really had no judge of how we're doing with a listing other than phone calls and inquiries. But now we have all this analytical data that we can look at and determine whether we're on the right track. The next we're going to do is set you up on a market snapshot. This is a neighborhood snapshot. It just tells you once a week you'll get a snapshot saying who's on the market, who went under deposit, of all houses in your vicinity. It might be more expensive, they might be less expensive, they might be different styles, but it gives you an idea of what's happening in your marketplace right now. Things on the other side of town might be different than on your side of the town. So the snapshot gives you an automatic market update and keeps you abreast of what's happening. I also like to set you up on MLS like you were a buyer looking for your particular house. This will show you the competition. So if you have a ranch, I'm going to set you up on ranches. If your house is in the 300 range, I'm going to set you up between 300 and 350 for ranches. And you're going to see what the new listings are, what the deposits are, what the solds are, so that you can, again, be as updated as I am with all the new information. Information is key in this new way of selling real estate, and the more the better. And that helps us make determinations if we're doing the right things. We're also going to start a social media campaign, and this is very vital to the sale of your house. Yeah, people still look in the newspapers, but they're very far and few between. And it also depends on your generation. I engage in a comprehensive social media campaign targeting the audience most likely interested in your property. With social media, we can drill down and find buyers in a specific town, looking for a specific price range, for a specific house. This helps us drive qualified buyers to your property as opposed to just casual lookers. Social media allows us to target 25 to 40-year-olds that have real estate likes in their profile. We can use hashtags to find those people and notify them that we have a property that they might be interested in. You might have somebody who's a sailor and does hashtag sailing, and you might have a property that's on the water that might appeal to a sailor. Well, we use hashtag sailing in the ad in a location that these people might be living in, and it will hit their feed automatically. So all of a sudden, I'm a sailor, I'm living in Clinton, and all of a sudden a house in Clinton on the water pops up in my feed because we have the same hashtag. So that's really the power of social media. We still do print advertising and print campaigns. Many small local papers still exist, and especially if we're targeting older people, older generations such as older baby boomers and the silent generation they're still on the fringes of maybe still selling a home, maybe not purchasing, but selling a home. And certainly the older baby boomers as well as younger baby boomers like me, we still look at the newspapers once in a while. We also look at our mail, the younger kids probably don't get a lot of mail, but the older folks definitely go to our mailbox every day and get our mail. And just listed postcards are another print media that we like to use to get the word out as well. The next thing we're going to get you set up on is weekly email from my office assistant on logistics. My office assistant will contact you weekly by email or phone, whichever you prefer, to check in to see how the listing is going on a logistical standpoint. Are lights being left on? Is there enough flyers at the house if we're during a time when we can leave flyers at the house? Is everything okay? Do we need more booties at the house if you have booties? Anything that has to do with the logistics of the listing, they're going to ask you about and then report back to me, and we'll correct any deficiencies in that sense. You will always get a weekly phone call from me. I like to talk on the phone. If you prefer an email, certainly I will email you, but I'm a talker. As you can see, I've been doing all these videos. I'm talking. So I like to talk. I like to check in with you. Like to do that usually on Mondays. It's after the weekend, kind of do a recap of what happened on the weekend, what's happened over the past week, to see if there's anything we need to do, any changes we need to make, just to touch base and just have a conversation with you about the market, what's happening in the political world, what's happening in the interest rate world, what's happening with stocks. So all that has to do with real estate. It all has an impact on real estate. Those are the final new listing tasks. I look forward to working with you to help you achieve your goals. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me by phone, text, email, my website, or any of my social media platforms. This is MJ, and we'll see you next time.